The RSI trade of the day. My name is Benjamin Poole, head trader here at Verified Investing. Thank you guys so much for tuning in here every morning at 8:45. So Google was my trade of the day yesterday. The stock market kind of had a decent bid. Google ended up heading higher right into our entry level. I was mentioning that I would put a stop at a 15-minute closing basis and look for about an $8 pullback, which is about 3% from our entry price. Well, unfortunately, that didn't happen. So let me go ahead and show you what happened in that trade. I ended up getting in this with the live day trading room and took over or just about $2,000. And I'll walk you through how I scaled. I entered the position and how I scaled out of the position, what I saw and why I removed the whole position and then watched Google just continue a little bit higher. So I had my entry price, $230.06. So I entered the trade right here. Relative strength index is given some negative RSI divergence on the 1-minute chart. Beautiful. So what I did was I said, all right, you guys, what I want to be able to do is I want to be able to exit half of my position. So I went in with a 2/10 position or 1/5 of my total portfolio. And I said, all right, I'm looking for a $4 pullback on the first half. And then I'm looking for an $8 pullback on the second half. As price action started heading lower, it started getting into a little bit of support in this area. The relative strength index dropped below the 50. But what happened right here was the relative strength index didn't continue lower. So I ended up exiting half at $227.46. So for just over $2.50, about $2.60 on that trade. That's the thing with day trading, right? When we're going in with, if you have $1 million portfolio, and you're going in with a 1/5, that's $200,000. You want to be able to maneuver through that. You want to be able to react to what the market is giving you guys. And so my reducing half of it was giving me that maneuverability just in case it went against us. But then when I saw the relative strength index staying around the 50 and starting to head higher, that was an exit. That was an opportunity for me to exit and then look for a potential setup. So I like Google for a short. This would have been, if I wasn't in that trade yesterday, this would have been one that I was looking at today. So $232.56 would be my entry price for today's trade. And then an ad level would be at $235.06. So basically $2.50 higher. And you're still looking, based on the fact that Google is now overextended on the daily time frame, the relative strength index. Look at how high it is on the relative strength index and on the overall chart. So I do anticipate a pullback at least to this upsloping trend line, which would be a retrace of scene of the crime. That would be a significant pullback from the highs right now, right? A 5 to 6% pullback. If we got in at 232.56 or even 235.06, that would be an even bigger pullback for Google. BONK. Here's another option, or another example of how the relative strength index works, right? So you've got this beautiful, huge move up on the relative strength index, topping out, putting in it's kind of more of a reversal signal, big wide range green bar candle followed by a decent sized red bar candle. And then look at the relative strength index, right? It gets below the 50. So for me, it's something like BONK, and this is something that I would look at when you guys are trading, is look at what the relative strength index is doing in relationship to what the price action is doing. As you can see, the relative strength index is heading lower. The price action is heading lower. So for me, I would pick up BONK, probably a Pierce of 30, especially if we can get into a lot of support. So this pivot high area would be a lot of support. We need a little bit more of a fall. It is a pretty significant fall, 12, 13%. Based on the negative sentiment in Lucid, I still see that price action is likely to head down here. If not today, tomorrow. I'm hoping it can drop down there today, especially with the relative strength index dropping a little bit, maybe back down to 20. Enter this thing at $14.36 and taking this for, this could be more of a swing trade, which means that you can get 15, 20% off of a stock like Lucid, getting back up to about 17 bucks. So again, my trade of the day is $14.36 long on Lucid. Relative strength index is great. It's negative below the 30, especially if it hits this downside target. This is not only a great day trade for me, this would also be a great swing trade.